Well, hello, brothers and sisters. This is Kirkland again, the man behind the curtain. I'm going to read some discovery, some wisdom, and as I read, I'm going to elaborate on my point of view and share my input and my thoughts on the issues. So please enjoy, and I'll go ahead and start. So I think I want to go over. I want to go over this discovery on the 13th Amendment. I'm going to read a few points on that. Maybe something will kick in that inquiring mind of mine to share. But it says, note, since I wrote this article, reputable attorney Larry Beckcraft has presented proof that the missing 13th was never ratified. So before I start, I'm going to tell you what I know a little bit about the 13th Amendment before I start this read. Apparently, there's two 13th Amendments. One is one that was snuck in and changed illegally, and one prior to that, the original 13th Amendment, stipulates and says some things in there that would totally throw things a loop today as for the attorneys and titles of nobility and those issues, and holding offices, 2 offices or more, or monopolized. But anyways, basically the 13th Amendment was illegally taken out of the Bill of Rights, or not out of the Bill of Rights, but out of the amendments of the Constitution many years ago, without the public and society's knowledge. And they've done that in many certain issues in areas, but a lot of people don't know that. But let me read this to you. Discovery on the 13th Amendment. The original 13th Amendment to our Constitution has been illegally removed from publication. One intent of the amendment was to prohibit the attorneys of powerful European bankers from holding office in America. During the confusion of the War of 1812, when our Capitol Records building was burned, and the Civil War, the bankers and the lawyers removed, so it even tells you, they removed it, the 13th Amendment, replacing it with the Slave Amendment, which should be the 14th Amendment. The missing 13th Amendment, called Article 13, reads, okay, you ready? If any citizen of the United States shall accept, claim, receive, or retain any title of nobility of honor, or shall without the consent of Congress accept and retain any present pension, office, or emolument of any kind whatever, from any emperor, king, prince, or foreign power, such as person shall cease to be a citizen of the United States and shall be incapable of holding any office of trust or profit under them or either of them. Wow. Man, that would definitely pull the citizenship of many people, especially in the Congress and senators nowadays, because we got so many foreign congressmen and senators. Note, the words title, honor, present, pension, or emolument from any foreign power cease to be a citizen and capable of holding office for either country. Those are very definite limitations with profound sentence of violators. Loss of citizenship in the United States, if honor includes immunities and pensions, etc., all government employees will be under fire. This amendment certainly will cause great suffering sound in the areas of election donations, especially from non-residents holding office, immunity from laws by government agents and agencies, titles of honor and benefits legislators give themselves. Amazing. Of profound concern in President Clinton, who was violating constitutional law at that time when he was president, by holding the office of president, a strict interpretation of the law will strip Clinton of his American citizenship. Both Clintons are attorneys. They could have known, and they should have known this. A critical area in this of our government agencies usurping excessive power. Federal agents from the IRS, federal marshals, etc. have been disregarding warrants and jury trial and relentlessly breaking and entering private homes and businesses, violating the Fourth Amendment. That's at a state level and federal level. That's your Fourth Amendment, and then also in every state of the Union, the Compact Agreement. They have a Fourth Amendment under Declarations of Rights and their own Bill of Rights in each state. It's in harmony. It's amazing. And if you don't know, it's what they say it is, so I'd advise you to know. Let's see. These agencies must no longer be allowed to flagrantly defy our constitutional law. Assuming immunity from prosecution, read income tax, is unconstitutional. Yeah, that Title 26, 27 is actually not law. And when they stipulated that, it's all about consent. And not only that, their jurisdiction of that, to enforce that, is 100 miles in the radius of the District of Columbia. It doesn't go any further than that. But again, if you don't know, it's what they say it is. So if you don't know, it's what they say it is. So if I advise you to know. Okay. Now see below, you will find the IRS is powerless and unconstitutional. They have no legal authority. And there's multiple institutions that are in correlation to that. I'm not going to get into all those right now, but yeah, they only have authority if you consent to it. And of course, they do have badges and guns, but it depends on what you believe and what you stand up for. A wise man would definitely get a squad if he's going to stand his ground on overreach authority. You must have a team to overpower their team, and that's why they don't like veterans like us or infantrymen or anybody with the wisdom and knowledge of that mind frame of thinking. They think we're terrorists and that we are the bad guys, which we are the ones that are willing to die to protect the nation as a whole and not only at home. They act on power usurped by the unconstitutional president, much too similar to the dictators from whom our forefathers fled. In the past 2 years, 3 large airliners and 1 public building have been destroyed under questionable circumstances, killing hundreds of people, and each time our federal government sealed off the area and would not allow public or private peace officers to investigators or media on the site. Think about that. Every shooting, every incident, crisis that's been occurring, what do? They only let their circle in the area. They don't let just the circle, so it's like a big movie scene. It's all in collusion. They won't let an outsider to come in and see what happens because they want to program and set the perception to the public eye. Killing hundreds of people in each time, and the federal government sealed off the area and would not allow public or private peace officers to investigators or media onto the site. All remains were destroyed. Survivor witnesses just happened to commit suicide and were cremated. Wow. All without public investigation. Then there are the mysterious cases of Vincent Foster, Mina, and other government performing radioactive, etc. experiments on us without even telling us. With the original 13th Amendment, perhaps we people can force less secrecy in government. Yeah, we definitely got to demand. And you know what? It also says in each constitution of the states that people have a right to know. And the Congress, the senators, when they have all these meetings in secrecy, that's actually illegal. That's against the whole purpose of the Constitution. It's in there. You just got to find it and read it. I've come across it many times in my readings. And guess what? What I've come to the conclusion, too, is the provisions in the Constitution, as far as I'm concerned, they're limitations of the government. So if they're limitations of the government, if you work for the government and you work for the people and you serve the people, those provisions don't apply to you. They apply to the American people. They're there to protect the American people, the masses. Okay? I hope you understand that. If you have any questions, just contact me and I'll elaborate on it even further. Other influences require adjustment in our society. It appears unconstitutional to our judges with the title of Your Honor and Honorable. To our congressperson, lawyers can no longer be immune from questioning and lawsuit and trials. nor can they use Esquire after their name or hold any office, for they and that title were a primary target of the 13th Amendment. The 13th may outlaw foreign ownership in America, especially of banks and money. It may be unlawful to sell lands, banks, etc. to foreigners. GATT and NAFTA may be illegal. Clarifications could be of great benefit to the U.S. people. So when I think about it, guess who owns the banks? A private corporation. And that private corporation is not even American. Get that. So you can see why they'd want to take that old 13th Amendment out and have it not in there and have it switched or excluded. So the 13th Amendment may outlaw foreign ownership in America, especially of banks and money. Okay, it is a small wonder that the bankers and lawyers removed the 13th Amendment. As you read the rest of the essays on this website, you will realize that the billionaire bank lords have us in an economic stranglehold, and that their attorneys in and behind Congress twist our laws to benefit them. So the laws that they're utilizing is our laws to benefit the masses, but they utilize it to benefit the corporations. And actually, you can see that going on now when you read the new Supreme case laws that are happening right now. The corporations are being treated like individuals as the servant when they're actually foreign institutions. They're not even American. So that should tell you something right there. There's a conflict. And actually, believe it or not, if you don't believe that supreme law has conflict, if supreme law has conflict, they're void and null too. And it's our responsibility as Americans, you and I, as individuals, to not obey. And the law says if you obey unconstitutional acts, conflicting laws, regulations, codes, statutes that is in conflict with the supreme law of the land, it is actually a crime. It is a crime, people, under Title 18, U.S. 241, 242, and 1628, 2185, 2186, 2184. I mean, there's so many of them. Just read them. Look them up. Okay, I'm going to continue on. I'm getting excited and elaborating enough on that. There goes that mind going way off from the knowledge of what the wisdom that I've learned on my own. Okay, the history leading to the original 13th Amendment reveals that the bank lords and the pie with their corrupt, sticky fingers, it seems that the powerful European bankers were attempting to control the new American government. That's exactly what they were doing. In the Jay Treaty, the U.S. Senate agreed in secret to pay the King George III of England 600,000 pounds sterling as reparations of the American Revolution. Wow. Congress ordered it not to be published. But then Ben Franklin's grandson published anyway. Upon reading it, an angry Congress passed the Alien and Sedition Acts in 1798. Against better American judgment, the United States Bank finally won out. And the European bank lords were now on their way to complete control of America. You know how they complete and control America? After the Civil War, they so-called said that they freed the slaves. But what they did is they didn't free the slaves. They actually enslaved the white people along with the slaves under trickery schema of regulations, codes, statutes, is what they did. And we all fell for it. A lot of people died over the matter, and we all fell for it. And to this day, we've still fallen for it. But thank God that there is a rude awakening of people like me and you that are researching, investigating, and sharing the discovery and letting the public and the society know that we are the servants, or they are the servants, and they serve us. They protect us. We are the master, and the masses are the masters. The peasants, the poor, the people, we the people of the American society. The government works for us. It's that simple. But it's been flipped around. Lawyers plan to overthrow a new American government, increasing the need for the 13th Amendment. And think about this. The lawyers did overthrow our government and assisted our government with collusion. The lawyers are being taught and programmed to those scheme of things, and they don't even know it. And there's a majority of them are not even American. They're either from Canada or European country or some other country. This fact is revealed in a book called 2 Victor Alpha Law and the Liberty of Congress. Since attorneys were granted the nobility title of Esquire and the English attorneys only, they were considered to be working with and for the powerful European bankers, who also were awarded the title of Esquire. Thus, Esquire and attorneys were a major target of the 13th Amendment. Forrest Glenn Derlin obtained a certified copy of the Constitution containing the original 13th Amendment from the State of Maine archives. It was printed in 1825. The original 13th Amendment were called Articles 1, Article 2, and Article 13. See below. I hope you are interested enough to look up some proof and show everyone, especially your congressperson. Check the following state archives of the 13th Amendment published on the date listed. Forrest did his research over the phone. Be polite. Virginia ratified the 13th Amendment on March 10, 1819. This completed the 13 states required to ratify an amendment. Virginia Legislature Act No. 260, Virginia Archives of the Richmond File, page 299, microfilm. It was published by printing 4,000 copies, triple the usual order, with the instructions to send a copy to President James Monroe, James Madison, and Thomas Jefferson. Man, that constructive fraud, started at an early time, didn't it? Rhode Island and Kentucky published the new amendments in 1822. Ohio first published it in 1824. Maine ordered 10,000 copies of the Constitution with the 13th Amendment for school use in 1824, and again in 1831 for the census edition. It was printed in 1825. Indiana revised laws of 1831, published the 13th article on page 20, Northwestern Territories, in 1833. Ohio published it in 1831 and again in 1833. Wisconsin Territory in 1839, Iowa Territory in 1843, Ohio again in 1848, Kansas statutes in 1855, Nebraska Territory 1855, 1856, 1857, 1858, 1859, and 1860. So basically there's a line of succession all the way back to the original 13th Amendment. So in that time frame, those little trickery bankeries and lawyers and judges switched it out on us so they can cover their butts to invade us and control us. Colorado Territory printed the U.S. Constitution and its statutes, a publication showing the 13th Amendment until 1868. Credit is given to Penn for the above quote. See amendments is missing. Could have known and should have known. Could have known and should have known is a precedent set by a California court. Although involving a physician, it implies that all people licensed or is trusted by the people must perform as expected of their profession. And actually no license is required for anything unless you consent and go into an unknown contract. Due credit for the research of both of these articles is given to an article by the Penn in the Oregon Observer, email editor at OregonObserver.com, and especially to David M. Dodge and Tom Dunn, who really made the discovery and did the big research. Please pass these truths on to everyone you can, and especially to your congresspersons. Do not depend on the mainstream media to carry these truths. We know now the media is our enemies too, as the attorneys and the judges and lawyers. The very life of our country depends on you and your word of mouth. To see a certified as correct copy of an 1825 edition of the United States Constitution containing the original Article 13, in those days the amendments were grouped under amendments to the Constitution and listed as articles. These files are big. It takes about a minute and a half for them to fully appear on your screen at 2800, 800, longer for slower modems. So here's the email link that you can click on. Well, actually, it says, look up original Article 13. That's what it says. It is on the link. Okay, so these files are big. Okay, but it's worth a wait. There is something magical in seeing the original with a browning pages and curled corners subordinately holding the truth. It shows how long the bank lords and attorneys have stooped to put a noose around our necks. A note of special gratitude is made to the archivist in the Maine State Archives of preserving and copying this invaluable document. Wow, amazing. So how long did that take? That was a 20-minute read. Well, I'm going to have to close, people, because I don't know if, I'm going to close at this. So not only the 13th Amendment was excluded and changed due to the facts of benefiting the people that control the nation, would be the attorneys, the judges, and lawyers, and some delegated powers. But however, we must learn what enabling clauses are in the line of succession, and we as Americans need to investigate our history and peel back the layers of fraud. And this is a good example. So I'm going to leave with, God bless you, I love you, and may you preserve and protect life, limb, and property and the constitutions of the sister states under the Compact Agreement. God bless you, God bless our country, and God bless Trump. Thank you.